Welcome in, Quiana. Welcome in, Dreads. Welcome in. Today is a Superstar Saturday with Key. Today's topic is about chains do break. They do. Now, before we actually get started, please, we must allow ourselves, this person right here, we have to allow that person to, like Grandma would say, sit down, be quiet, and get your mouth, right? That's what we're going to do today. Because you are that soil, and everything that's surrounding you is partly you. But before we get into what's surrounding you, chains to break, let's break up the barriers right now that are blocking self. Remember, you block you first, and then block everything outside. What's blocking? Who's blocking? What's blocking? Self. Shall we breathe? Remember, I always do numbers. So today, because it's the first of the month, ready? 7-11. So you're going to breathe in 7 seconds, hold it for 11 seconds, let it out for 11 seconds. 7-11. Y'all ready? Breathe in. Deep breath in. Down here in your belly button. Ready? Together. 1, 2, 3. Anything and anyone that no longer serves you, push and hold. And act like they're right there in front of you, but your strong arm is up. Your strong cement arm is up. And just let it sit there and stand in that. It might hurt because you gotta hold your arms up a little longer. It might feel uncomfortable. And the uncomfortability is where you move everything that's around you, even yourself. Everything that's around you, even yourself. The main person that's around you that is in your way, because y'all know I like my football season. Stiff arm yourself right now, because your thoughts can be in the way. Your emotions can be in the way. Oh, I got to do this. All that don't even matter. In the now of you is what matters. Don't you want to feel you more? Don't you want to be closer to you? Breathe in. Take a deep one this time. Ready? Even though it looks like you're surrounded, you're still surrounded by greatness. Even though it looks like you're surrounded by disappointments and rejections and guilt, even though it looks like whatever life and people, you're still surrounded by your own greatness, your own uniqueness, your own divine oneness, omnipotentness. You are still surrounded by the universal harmony of you. When you embrace, you, when you embrace the boundaries, right? The boundaries are yours. When you embrace that white picket fence, when you embrace the armor that you prepared and put on, when you embrace you, nothing even matters anymore. Cuff, because you always have to receive. Are we in a receiving position? We can go run the ball all day long. We can go move, we can go shout, we can go do all these things. Go wipe your eyes, put on a different armor. We can go do all that. You can even uproot yourself and move you in a different soil. But you still gotta receive. Receive. Because in that receiving is where you are accepted. You have become acceptance, and gratefulness and acceptance were teeter-totter, and you'll start dancing unconsciously, because nothing matters except for you accepting what is, what it is, and what it shall is be. But I'm in gratefulness for everything, every step, every second, every millimeter second, every ounce of it. And it'll show you you. Receive. You have to embrace you. You have to embrace you. Now that we have received, now that we have allowed ourselves to accept, welcome in, Ty. How are you, nephew? Now that we have allowed ourselves to be in our own self, It's a superstar key day, you guys. And my co-host wants to come up. He's more than welcome to come up. Just remember, Dreads, that we are live on the YouTube, on the Speak to My Heart page on YouTube. We are right here. I am. You can only hear you guys if you do come up to speak. But today is about the chains that do break. It is still with the soil, though. Because you got to see what type of soil you in. You got to see where you at. So 6 years ago, I started Speak to My Heart. But at 6 years old, life began to life, and I had no control over whatever was happening. Y'all ever felt like that? Where you had no control? None whatsoever on the direction, on the people. And if you did, you just did not know it, because they say you design your life, right? So the designer designed where Quiana was not going to be. Welcome in, OK Splash and Stephanie. I was with my father. So my mother sent me to my father's house at 6. She said 5, 6. I went there. I'm a big kid. You ain't knowing that, you know what I'm saying? The wheel turned. It all was gravy until life gets to life, and then things get to happening. Things that should never happen to no little girl. That's A. 2, on top of that, that was the first part of, as they say, trauma bonds. Because you touched me. Trauma bonds. I'm not knowing what trauma is. Not at all. But see, healness has you where you can go and dig this up and you can look at something differently. That sips some tea. Healness allows you to be a whole person and go into some soil that actually shaped you. But you thought it was rocky because it was. It was thorny because it felt that it was pricking on you. It was hard soil because you just felt that way. You just felt this is hard. You just felt that way. That was 6. I'm 50. So life get to life and changing and all that, and you get to getting older and you look back at that being a healed individual. Gratefulness changes everything. But before we ever get to gratefulness, we got forgiveness. Forgive you for what? You hurt me. You did something to me. You disturbed my senses. I'm confused. Made me feel very displaced. Very. You see what I'm saying? This is what it looks like inside. Welcome in, JG. It looks like inside because don't nobody want you to go back and talk about something that happened. Oh, it happened. Do you not know how I lived within myself? Replaying, feeling. Welcome in, Michael Johnson. Replaying and feeling hurt. Feeling I didn't belong. Feeling nobody gave a damn about me. Feeling this within myself. Because I wasn't with my mom. I was with my dad probably like a year and a half, 2 years before the woman that married him or wasn't married to him, and she decided to leave him. Feeling like that. And as I'm feeling like that, it's mentally and emotionally shaping a person. This is real. Shaping me inside, not defining who I am, but shaping me inside. Well, I am thinking it's shaping me inside. I'm thinking this. See, this is what I want people to understand. Like, my story is my story, but we've all heard me say, I wasn't raised by my mom, and I didn't be with my family for 36, 37 years. How, thank God for Facebook, that's how they just, discovered I'm still here and where I am. But before all that happened, mentally and emotionally, Quiana was not strong enough to do certain things for herself. Like, see herself where she's at and understanding that, hey, that happened to you. But that don't mean that that's you. That happened to you, but it's not you. But I ain't know that. I'm crying all the time on my pillow, not you. I'm crying all the time. Having messed up relationships or whatever. I don't know how to have a great relationship. Don't know how to have a good communication. The reason I said relationship is because I ain't loved me. Or I did love me, but just didn't know me. See how confusing all this is? And then it bothered me because I was so bothered inside from 6 years old probably until just a couple years ago. I'm thinking this is just what it is. This is the way of life. I used to go run out in the woods because she took us down to Mississippi. I'm in Portland, Oregon right now. This is where I'm originally from. And when we went to Mississippi, it was difficult for me. Yes, Dreads. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for being here. Peace, love, hugs, and harmony. Today is about change, do, break. And that soil within, baby, just say thank you. Thank you. Because experience do not define self, but how we incorporate those experiences into our lives. So my compartment was with all of my feelings was true. So I've always been in my trueness regarding my feelings because I didn't know how to fake those. I might know how to be in front of you and smile and grin, and carry on about my business and be nice about it. But being able to fake my own feelings, no, I don't know how to do that. If I'm upset, I'm upset. When I'm happy, I'm happy. When I'm exuberantly ecstatic, I am. Because I am now in tune with myself. But I wasn't then, and if I was, I just didn't know it because I didn't have the right teachers there. So I had life and nature being my best teacher for myself. I ain't always been this way of saying yes to Quiana. I really did not like myself. Not like that I ain't like me. I just didn't know me. I thought something was always, oh my God, wrong with me. All the time. All the time I thought something was wrong with me. Because my unique difference, my rareness of me. I've heard people say that so many times. You're rare, Key. You're different. It took me a couple of years ago. It took me damn near 40-some years to be 40-some years old to accept my difference because I always thought something was wrong. Change do break. Change do break. Are you willing to look at yourself and break your own chains? When I started Say Yes to You, I went on a roller coaster ride within myself because I'm like, wow. Quiana wasn't saying yes to herself. But I also didn't know how. But when I started Say Yes to You, baby, I said yes to everything about me. Every time I hurt, I would, you know what, Quiana, it don't even matter. If they didn't love on you then, it's okay. We gonna love on those parts now. So what I started doing was hugging on me. I started hugging on me. For every time that somebody hurt me or I hurt myself, I hugged and loved on areas that y'all can't even explain. Every time I wanted somebody to love on me, I hugged on me. For every time that adult ignored me, come on now, y'all be playing with sometimes with stuff. For every time the adult ignored you, there go some of your validation. And those things, when you don't get validated, you know, you start being people pleasing in the wrong places, doing the wrong things with the wrong people, all of that because you're not getting validated. So now you feel like you need to be in these areas. And this is my story, so I'm talking about me. I felt that. I felt I needed to be somewhere to feel validated. Being compassionate to myself. It wasn't until a couple of years ago that I just really started learning to listen. And I'm doing that when I say listen, meaning I had to close out the ears that I have right here and listen with my heart to myself. I had to listen with my heart and tune out other stuff and hear Quiana. Quiana, we heard. And yes, I was a child that didn't receive certain things. You know, we talk about accolades, but what about feeling acknowledged, heard, seen, valued, appreciated? When's the last time you felt you were appreciated? Man, you know how that feels? That don't feel good. Even as a child, a teenager, I didn't get that from my family until I was an adult. Having an adult relationship with other adults that, hey, sometimes you don't want to be with these folks. Like this ain't making sense. People don't even do that. Alignment, we ain't have no alignment going on. A lie is. But y'all don't want to be truthful. See, I'm going to be truthful because I can't keep being in a place where Kiki's voice, she didn't know that her voice mattered. I didn't know my voice mattered. Welcome in, knowledge, wisdom. You got to go in and acknowledge those areas of you. It took me to an adult to realize my voice do matter, the power of my voice. My voice has power. I have power. And then I got to put my wisdom key in a thing because somebody didn't teach you or they didn't know no better. It's like a whole lot of, you got to just be calm. Maybe they didn't know no better. And then me being the hurt person, I'm over here, I don't care if you did know better. You still did what you did because words do hurt. You said what you said, you did what you did, but it's my responsibility to go in and love on me. So I forgive you for not giving me what I can give to myself because it's not your responsibility, it's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It is my responsibility to go in and love the areas that are unaddressed, that weren't addressed because it's not your responsibility. Whether somebody did it or not, I had to acknowledge the fact that negative Nancy, negative Norman didn't set a tone, they didn't set the stage, and then I already had to deal with the fact of, you know, they say being biracial, got the good hair, all these type of factors play a part. Because now I'm confused and don't know what the fuck I am. I didn't know who it was. That's what makes me more damn. Damn. You look back and think about that. You didn't know who you was. And wasn't nobody trying to help you get there. They was taking and snatching and taking and snatching. And you know what I do because it's Saturday? I know how to take my hand and snatch everything that you have done and snatch it in my world and let it go. and power up. Because what you did was meant for me to grow. Power up, you guys. You take and you snatch and you power up. Because every time that you was trying to dim my light and every time that I was allowing that to happen, I just got to go back in and fix what I allowed, not what you did. I got to go back and fix what I allowed, not what you did. One of the first things that broke everything was in 2008, Pastor Terry Barnes and Bishop Anthony Barnes came to Spring Hill Church. Never forget this. That man preached on forgiveness. He preached and he teached on the power of forgiveness. Forgiveness is solely for you. He said, while you sit here mad, upset, holding a grudge, need to be living your life, freedom. He spoke on all of that, right? He spoke on what it looked like on your end. And he said, do you not know they ain't thinking about you? Oh. Welcome in, Tammy. Welcome in, Travis. Thank you for being here. I am Quiana Turner, self-actualization influencer, spoken word artist, mental health advocate, and a visualizer. I help you see the who in you so that you can walk in your true potential on purpose. I don't like all them titles. That's why I'm just Key or Quiana. Or, if you know me well, it is Kiki. And today is about chains do break, and that soil within you is what's going to break those chains. We can no longer allow the hold, the barriers, the blockages, being the doormat, being confused. We can no longer allow any of the entities that have been in the way when you have the power to remove everything, to walk away from anything and anybody and walk through those quote unquote things or people that in the way. Just move them. Just move them. I walk straight through them. It's all a delusion. You can, you will, and you shall, and you must be who you genuinely are. And that's was my fight. I didn't know that was my fight because I was always just trying to get away from her. I was just trying to get away. That her I was trying to get away from is myself. How many times are you going to continue to run from you? And as my co-host say, Mr. Dreads, I have never seen, and God says it too, I've never seen anybody run from your shadow. My shadow is right here. If I move, it moves, just like that. If I move, it moves, just like that. I'm looking at it on the side from the side view. I move, it moves, just like that. I had to really learn the power of forgiveness in order to start breaking up the ground. The ground had to be broke up. So I had to go in and I had to accept how Quiana's attitude is, how Quiana perceives and looks at things. I had to go in and allow myself to forgive everything that was there, everybody that was there. I hurt for a long time. And I said it, I hurt for a long, long time. A long time. Welcome in, Dreads. Peace, God. Peace. I don't want anybody to think that this is a sad one. This isn't a sad one. This is really real. I had a welcome in daughter. I had a promiscuous spirit. I didn't know who I was. I cried for my parents all the dang on time. I was so hurt. Oh my God, I was so hurt. Hurt on top of hurt on top of hurt, piling hurt on top of hurt. being with people. When I say being, allowing myself, my youngin' to be with people that I shouldn't have been with or I should have been with, I don't know. Only thing I know is I was in a poetry that didn't have no harmony. I was in a flow that was just like awful. It was like a constant tug of war. It was just welcome in, Shamela Cobb, welcome in, Albert, welcome in. I was so lost. I used to go out in the woods and just hide because didn't want to project the energy that was on me to somebody else. I didn't even know how to do anything. Albert, I'm grateful that you're here. Albert was one of those people that told me it's okay to be alone because that's where you get your power at. Thank you for never making me feel any type of way. If you want to come up, Albert, you can, but I'm serious. Because you know where we come from, Dove V, Water Valley, Mississippi. And sometimes it's hard just to want to be free. Be free from all these things that have pushed on you. When people making fun of you and bullying you, and you ain't got nobody to talk to. I am very anti-bully because I am the bully. Don't do me, don't do people. You know what it feels like to have 3 children and they want to help. And sometimes you don't know how to help them. Before the children, when you got a voice and you don't even know who to open up to. When people try to love on you and you don't even know how to let them love on you. Because you so hurt. You so hurt. You so hurt. Forgiveness. And the work don't stop. I had to forgive. In 2008, 2009, I started forgiveness and I met Albert. I just thought about that. And I met Albert Dredd. And I met, yes. Yes. And I say that in because when you forgive, it's people that will come in your life at the time. But because you are still in a journey, in a process, in a what I call a stiff arm, moving people and yourself out of the way, it seems so like you don't even know how to love because you ain't never had somebody genuinely love you. And you ain't genuinely love self. Genuinely. I wasn't genuinely loving myself because I had so many people touching on me inside and out. Hopefully y'all can understand that. When you don't have a genuine hug, when you've been took and you so far from your family, you don't know. You don't know. Okay, that happened to you. To see what you don't understand is because it was past. It was also the reason I was acting like I was, the reason I would lash out like I was, the reason I would respond like I was, the reason I was, oh, I want to cling to this dude over here, I want to cling to this clique over here, I want to go be in this area over here. The reason I wasn't listening and wasn't hearing. Please share, like, and follow this live right here, you guys, and it is also on YouTube. Speak to my heart, the number 2. Life will make you grow or lose yourself. Exactly, for not growing, exactly. And I would rather continue to grow because not growing allows my seed to just shrink. And the more that my seed in that soil is shrinking and eating at each other, my light is dimming. And when my light is dimming, I'm dimming and I'm shrinking and I'm going away. Slowly but surely, I'm going to shrink myself unless I allow myself to be free. I told y'all this is Superstar Saturday Key Time and I'm going to share it all. I didn't know how to be free. I didn't know how to be free in my voice. I didn't know how to be free in my emotions and free in my mind, free in all of me. Is your soil in freedom. Because I lived a life of not knowing what it felt to be free. That's why I said today, November the 1st, we was coming back, y'all. It's the first. I kept my word to myself. I'm coming back. Quiana, Key, and Kiki, we all here. It's time to respect all of you. It's time to love all of you. And I'm going to repeat it again. It's time to respect all of you. Would you rather have respect or would you rather have love? Because when you have respect, you have love. And when you have love, you have respect. They dance with each other. They hold hands with each other. Because genuine love is respect. I had to learn how to genuinely love because I didn't understand respect, but I had to really learn how to respect Key. And I talked about, we're going to go back to old school. Do you respect your yummy baby? I had to learn how to value my yummy. Somebody told me thank you after they had sex with me, and it triggered everything in me to say no more. Never again. If you ain't my husband, you ain't mine, you ain't my soul mate of stuff, we not doing that. Welcome in our peace. We're not doing that. Because I need to love Quiana. And this journey of 6 years in of saying yes to you, say yes to you, I had to learn how to value my own identity. My good, it happened to me. Okay, my bad, I did it and said it. Okay, whatever. All right, you this and you that. I don't care what y'all think about me. I care about the definition of who I see I am so that I can walk in my true purpose on purpose for Quiana. Because if I don't, I told y'all, chains do break. I can't break the generational curses for Anthony, Corterius, and Desiree Robinson. I can't break the generational curses for Emmanuel, Garrett, Faith, and NJ, and the baby to come. I can't break stuff if I don't love and respect this person right here. And everything that happened to me, it did. You touched me, okay, whatever. Key, you did it, you said it, okay, whatever. You didn't do this, and I don't even care. What I care about is elevating me. And I thank God and I thank myself for continuing to grow no matter what age you are. I'm 50, no matter what age you are. If you got a pulse, it's purpose and passion right there. When you release what's in there holding you and holding you down and holding that hard dirt and soil, when you release it and be free, it's freedom in the good soil. But you got to go through that hard, thorny, rocky, rusty soil if you welcome in, sister, so that you can get to that great soil, that good soil. Ooh. Welcome in, Albert. Welcome in, Dreads. I'm on mute. Let me get some tissue, guys. Doctor, you guys can speak. Take the floor. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling on this Superstar Saturday? Right back. Hey, hey, hey. How we doing, sister? Memphis, Tennessee in the house. Welcome, kids. Dreads. Albert. What's going on? Am I still muted? Y'all can hear me?
What's going on? How you doing?
I am amazingly great. And yourself?
It's fine. Truthful word. Truthful word is I totally agree. You know what I'm saying? Keep your faith. Once you keep your faith, you keep your strength. You know what I'm saying? Never let your faith fade away because a cloud in your way. It's just a cloud. You know what I'm saying? Hey, growth doesn't start outside, it starts within you. You know what I'm saying? Let yourself grow. No matter what you come across, you know what I'm saying? There's gonna be some obstacles. This meant to destroy your good soul. Your good soul is what your strength comes from. You lose your good soul, you lose your strength. Your soul is your wisdom, your knowledge of things around. Everybody out there enter self that they need to attach themselves to. Therefore, they will see for themselves. Once you attach yourself to yourself, you're lost until you attach yourself to yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's reconnecting with yourself. It's spiritual. Therefore, you feel everything spiritually around you. Everything give out vibe. Everything give out sequences. The common knowledge will miss it, but a spiritual person will catch you. You know what I'm saying? Hey, truth will be speaking. Only if you could feel it yourself. Real talk. I feel it.
Real talk right there. And with you saying that, Dreads meet Albert, aka Prince Albert. Okay, have to share it like that because this is somebody that I personally know. And when I was saying thank you, because Albert is somebody that helped me see my own sunshine. When I was in a healing phase, I didn't want people to be close to me because I felt like you were just taking. I was just, oh my God, like everybody, I'm not saying that they were against me, but when you start pulling away from people and start trying to do your own thing, you really see the force of againstness. And I'm so thankful for people that genuinely see the sunshine in you. Albert is the first person that said, hey, sunshine to me. And I didn't feel like he was trying to run the game. Because he said, you are. So I didn't know that that person was speaking life into me. I just knew the frequency, as I like to say now, which we can say energy don't lie. That I didn't know that that was a man pouring into my heart, my soul. So this is somebody who has poured into all three of my kids. That's why I say shout out, aka Prince Albert. Hello, the Capricorn be something serious going on over there. They are more in tune with themselves than we really think that they are, right? Not only that, being able to see yourself in somebody else's eye. We're talking about really see yourself, really have somebody sit you down. If you have somebody in your life like that, because me and Albert been knowing each other since my daughter was, like I said, 2008. 2008, 2009, how long did it take you? And that's somebody who has, the man can sing, the man can rap, the man can make music. If somebody can sing to your heart without physically touching you, an active reflection every time, every time. But if somebody can pour into your heart, can touch you without physically touching you, welcome in, Tango. Embrace, and like I say, receive. We turn away the people who are genuinely meant to be on the journey in alignment with you. And to go back with Boo Boo the Fool and Susu the Clown. It was just Halloween yesterday, right? So we're going to go back to these people in the costumes because you have not allowed yourself to be in faith-based mindset, which is force mindset, which is all action, because force and faith means you have to go into action mode, and which takes you into, like Dres just said, ego trip. So now you are an ego and not stardom. I told you I'm a star. It's a superstar Saturday. See, because if I'm in my power, that means my light is shining on purpose. That means my light is intentionally over here sparking and attracting you. That means my light is gravitating to you. Jim, 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 Jim. So for those of you who sleep with the TV on, the lights on and all that, this is why you can't rest. Because of the fact that you are lighting, 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 lighting. Peace, love, peace, and keep your faith through the hard times. God is with us. We are strong. Thank you. Let me know if you're leaving so I can just drop you down so it don't change nothing on the show. I just want to really be like, for real, you guys, it's men out here. And I always, and I don't, and I'm not knocking a woman, but when you have had men, okay, Albert, you know I'm gonna share it like it is. So stay, oh, stay right there. Because Albert was like one of the first people I shared some things with that dealt with this. And he's never made me feel any type of uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. Do you hear me? When you have grew up as a little girl, where you have been fondled in touch and all type of things, right? So, when you have been sensually abused, you don't know what real love is. You just don't. You don't know what a real embrace is. You just can't. You're unable. Because everything in you is already armored. You are already fully armored because somebody came in and sensually and sensual abused you. They messed with you yummy, male or female, okay? There's males out here that been messed with. And I share that because of the fact that we don't want to talk about the fondling, the fictitious behavior, devaluing the person that you have sat up here and done something to that has traumatized them. And what you did is you took that realness that was real, that pureness that was right there, and you wanted to go and snatch it and make it for yourself. So some people out here are so tied to people that they didn't ask to be and didn't do it on their own. So some of y'all need to stop saying, hey, you did that. You went and laid down with him. Some of us out here didn't go and do nothing. Some of us have been touched when we didn't ask to be touched and we didn't volunteer that. So somewhere in that thorny, hard, rough, rocky soil is something that you didn't ask for and volunteer for. And to be that real star of you, you're going to have to really go in here and refuse. Refuse allowing the cycle to keep coming back through. Refuse. Thank you for sharing the live. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, YouTubers, also for listening. Thank you, everybody. Because it is somebody out here that I just want you to know that you're not alone. You're not alone. And when you by yourself, feeling those cycles of repeat of hurt and can't share it with nobody, I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like for people to not believe you. I know what it feels like to live somewhere else and it's like a whole nightmare for years and years and years. Okay, it happened. It's the past. Let me tell you something. I am an overcomer. I am a generational curse breaker. I can't thank Kiki and Key enough because they are the ones that overcame, not me. They could have took themselves out and unalived themselves because of what they were going through. Do you not hear what I'm saying? I am grateful for Quiana because the adult Quiana could have did the same thing months and years ago. But because y'all don't want to be honest, I'ma always be honest. Do you know what it feels to want to take yourself? Hello, that's real. We hurt in areas that are unaddressed, that are hidden in a treasure within our soul, but you don't want to say that your soil is messed up. And you don't even want to do what my brother up there keeps saying. Ask why is it messed up? Ask why does it hurt? Ask why does it feel uncomfortable? Ask why does it feel discombobulated? Ask why do I feel this way when I go over here around you? Ask why. If you don't go let your little kid ask why, you ain't gonna never see the you. Because you can't even say yes to you. Dreads, can you just take it away so I can breathe?
Yes, peace, everybody that's here and joining us with your time and energy today. You've been building a house, kid, because everything you say, my experiences with self-identity were slightly different because the Jamaican side of my family is like super high yellow, they can pass for white. So when I was coming up, I was a little brown skinned kid, didn't think about what I looked like when I'm looking at people that are called my family, and they're all super high yellow. So when I was a kid, and my mom had to tell me, she's like, "No, son, you're not white. And they're not white either. They're just very light skinned Jamaicans, but you are actually black." And that was like one of the first times I've ever heard myself being identified as black. And so I didn't know. And I was just being me, us as children, because of the veil of forgetfulness when we transition to this form, we don't remember. So we just come with what we are, which is your authentic self in your childhood. That's when you're most authentic, because you're not influenced or groomed or indoctrinated into any form of belief about self or anything else. You're just looking out in the world and you're just absorbing what you're experiencing. You're just experiencing those things that you absorb in your environment. So it's like, you don't really have a sense of self in that aspect. And that was probably my first experience of hearing, you're black. I'm like, well, what's black? And then, you start to learn a little bit more, and then you see, this side versus this side, and, you start understanding the differences in between people. But, for me, it was like, who am I? Like, I didn't know in that sense because I was just so naive to what society has set up at that point in my life. And for a long time, that really like worked on me because, you have the black versus white, and, I'm half Jamaican, so there's that half of my culture. And, back in the late 80s and the 90s, when we had that mass migration of young folks come from Jamaica to New York, they're coming with their own culture, their own flavor, which seemed to be different from what I was raised with in my Jamaican side of my family. So, like, this whole identity of like, who am I? Like, I'm Jamaican, I'm American, I'm black, I'm white, I'm all of these things because, when it comes to my particular background, even though we have Jamaican in us, our Jamaican family descended from Europe. So that's why they're so light skinned. But, learning those things and trying to decipher what those things mean and how does that, influence me as an individual, and this is before, having that solid knowledge of where we are now in our journeys and the fact that we're even on a journey and what life is and the spirituality aspect of everything and the natural aspect, communing with nature, all of those things. It's like you don't know what that really means or represents at a young age like that, unless you just happen to be one of those ones that you've just been aware your whole life. Some souls have that ability to maintain their memory, or they can pick up on it real easily, so they can kind of find themselves. But for me, it was a struggle. Was worried about being accepted and not being picked on. Because I was called brainy, explainy as a kid because I love to talk, I love to ask questions, I love knowledge as a child. So those things that they called me brainy, explainy, and all these things, and they picked on me and big ears and all of that stuff as a kid. And you're really trying to find yourself, not understanding, even though some people in your life, your parents, your aunts, your uncles, or whatever, will tell you and try to encourage you to be confident in who you are. And that's all good and fine, but when you don't know who you are, how are you able to be confident in that? And not understanding that just being yourself in whatever way, shape, or form that is what being you is really all about. What being authentic is really all about. But without that guidance, that knowledge, we don't know those things. So we're just pretty much aimlessly walking to and fro, trying to make sense of the world around us and all of this environmental stimulation, this social stimulation, this intellectual stimulation, this personal stimulation, interacting with others, and you're really trying to get a grasp and turn understanding into understanding. But again, as a child, we don't know those things. But in our adult years, looking back on those things, you kind of can look over the path that your life is taking, and you can see from an adult perspective, from a so-called conscious perspective, you can see where you were actually practicing the things that you didn't have a name for at that time. We're just told to be ourselves, but nowadays they call it authentic. We didn't know what being authentic was. We were just being who we were. Get up, you brush your face, you wash your face and brush your teeth, you take your bath, you get ready for school, you go to school, and so on, and you just go. There's really no introspection, because as a youth, we're not taught to do that. Other cultures do have immersive learning strategies, I guess you could say, that although you're learning about your ABCs, for example, it's all interactive and immersive, so it's incorporated into your life, and it automatically shows you how you can use these things to your benefit. We don't have that here in the United States, because a certain individual by the name of Rockefeller, I think it was, said that he didn't want a nation of thinkers, he wanted a nation of workers. Basically, he wanted slaves and move to deal with the education system, the healthcare system, and all of these things to kind of groom the United States to become just what he was envisioning. And so we had to deal with that on top of that, and all of the programs and the different means by which people can be kept in the dark about their true self. Could you imagine how much farther and how much more advanced we'd be as a nation, speaking specifically to the United States, if we had those major pieces in place, where you had a concept of what immersive learning is. Well, you can relate what you learn to your actual culture that you live in. It's not that the United States doesn't have a culture, we just have a fucked up culture. It's not, it's a melting pot and all of this stuff, where everybody freaking melted. And now we don't know who we are, we don't know anything outside of our town, outside of our block, outside of our state, outside of our country. Me being in the military, I was able to see how other cultures around the world operate. It really gave me a sense of self. It gave me a sense of appreciation for what we have and take so much for granted. Because you see these people in these other countries, and you're like, how can they even survive compared to what we do in the United States? But the United States is not the world, and we should never nowhere near the blueprint. That's why you have so many souls leaving organizations that they grew up in or were indoctrinated into or grew
Welcome in, Energy Divine. Thank you, sis.
So we have that opportunity now, and it's just a beautiful journey. Yes, it's not always like we always say.